Okay. Okay. I just got off work. Anybody who knows my situation with work and the massive amounts of overtime I have to do, considering it's an election year, knows that. Well, let's just get started. So, you may or may not know of this person. Okay. He posts this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Okay, fine. I went through that and I posted this. You can pause it and see for yourself. Okay, fine. He just writes this. Now, I'm going to get to what I wrote to this in a second, but then this comes across. This is why I have to be thorough, because stupid MFers don't read. Instead of spending time to read every link attached, dumbasses will write paragraphs like this. I won't even get into what I wrote here. I want to show you all something. Assuming that, okay, I'm assuming his people read, okay. I'm going to show you this. This I had to screenshot from my phone because apparently, I don't know what it is with YouTube or whatever, but as you can see, it's not here. My reply is not there. But my reply is here, screenshot from my phone. Okay. Now, I want to show you all something. My original reply to him 5 minutes ago. His reply to me, 0 seconds. And then this. I'm going to blow this up here. And I want you all to read this. Pause and read. First of all, I'm assuming anybody who watches his stuff or anything like that will have the attention span for a video like this. Then again, I'll get to them in a second. Does this? Now, I posted this before I saw this here. After I posted this in response to his comment, I'm going to use you as an example. I posted this long before I saw this. Now then, between these two things here, does it look like I am attacking this man? Does it look, especially after this, does it look like I am attacking this man? Does it sound like I have a problem with what he posted? Okay. One thing is, I have been on YouTube for quite a long time, and I have seen people try to do what this man is doing. With the stats and this and that and this and that. There's also some other types and kinds of people that I've seen throw stats and numbers and this and that. And thinking, oh, well, that's it. That's all. White supremacists, and really just supremacists in white skin or not. In fact, I even made a note of it here. When it comes to black men and crime, they too post stats from .gov and that. Oh, and actually, let's go ahead and do this. Sources. He posted 4 sources. Okay. Ooh, .gov as well. .gov.org. Okay. 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 CDC. Okay. All right. Note what I said here on the CDC right here. Okay. CDC. All right. White supremacists do this as well when it comes to black people and crime. And no matter how much this stuff gets debunked, they still use it and they still say, here are the numbers. Numbers don't lie. What do I say about numbers? I'm assuming we can read. You can't read? Okay, well, despite what he would like to believe, I'll read it for you. Especially this part right here. Quote, numbers supposedly don't lie, however, they can be made to say whatever you want them to, depending on how hard they're jujutsu'd. Anybody doesn't know what jujutsu is? Look it up. Not jujitsu, jujutsu. There's a big difference between the J-U-J-U and J-U-J-I. Go look it up. Hey, I'm pretty sure anybody who's in his camp is all about looking stuff up, so there you go. You heard that here first. If anybody knows of a person named Peter Joseph, that's just a pen name, I don't know what his real name is. He made three movies actually. He was trying to make a fourth one and it didn't pan out. The Zeitgeist movies, the Zeitgeist films that were, all the rage in the late 2000s. One thing he said about those movies was that they were the most sourced movies in movie history, in motion picture history. The most sourced. And even at the end of the movie, he had a list of all of his sources. And of course, people got at that too. So what was the problem with that movie? Okay. Especially part one of the first movie. That movie, especially part one of the first movie, or actually probably only part one of the first movie, was so dissected and destroyed despite it being the most sourced in movie history. You had so many people destroy that part one of the first movie, the part on religion, that even atheists had to come in and say, yeah, no. Okay. Prominent atheists, well-known atheists, heavy hitters, as well as no-name coffee shop atheists, right? Most sourced. Why am I getting to that? Having sources, okay, yes, you should have sources, but having sources alone doesn't mean anything. White supremacists routinely post government sources. And yet they are routinely wrong. So am I saying you are wrong? No. I am not saying you are wrong. Chances are you might actually even be right about this. I'd like to think better than you have tried to sit here and say what you're saying, and probably have, and they've been met on deaf ears or nobody wanted to, so I don't know what you think you're going to do, but okay. My thing is, you coming at me like this? And actually, this whole thing isn't for you coming at me like this. No. This is to make sure that anybody who is actually about researching and looking up will see this response to all of this. But then again, now is where we get into the comments. So there's the comments for this, okay, fine. But more importantly, the comments for this. Of course you see mine. Did any of these people so far sit and read and look at this right here? Why? That way, no one can say anything to the contrary once it's presented. Does that sound like I am coming at your stats and at your stuff, man? I'm going to be honest, I'm not surprised. I'm honestly not surprised. But we'll keep going. This stuff right here. Okay, well, first of all, let me just say this about the whole government statistics and their numbers and stuff like that. Numbers in and of themselves mean nothing. Anybody who knows anything about anything involving numbers, right? Especially when you apply those numbers outside of just like raw math and I guess computers and programming. Numbers and stats mean nothing in and of themselves. The interpretation of those numbers and stats is what makes all the difference. Numbers are objective, and go on ahead and listen up to this. Listen to this. Numbers are objective. They are in fact null and void despite being objective. Interpretation is more or less 100% subjective. Especially if you don't have anybody else going against it, and that way you can kind of hash stuff out. If you have nothing but an echo chamber and you're sitting here posting stuff, that's how you get white supremacists constantly thinking that, oh, black men, black people and black men specifically do the most amount of crime, when literally every single thing takes their same numbers that they got from the government, what is it, the Bureau of, the Justice Department, shit, or whatever it is, use their same numbers. In some cases, find what they took out, what they left out when they were presenting those numbers, okay, and come to a completely different conclusion with the exact same objective numbers. A completely different conclusion. If anybody reached this far and is wondering, okay, so if you're not trying to go against them, then what's the point? The point is, this is why you need to honestly understand what is being said, okay, rather than just thinking, oh, they didn't look at this right here, this response right here, this is a knee-jerk response. Okay, I've been on YouTube long enough to know a knee-jerk response when I hear it or when I see it. 5 minutes, 0 seconds, and then he posts this. This had better be a knee-jerk response, because if it's not, and he actually sat and thought about what I said, and this is what he comes with, tells me that the intelligence might be there, but the wisdom is not. Intelligence is at 100, wisdom is at 0. If anybody knows games, hit points and stat points and all that. And then again, there's this. Between these two things, does it look like I was going after this man? Okay. It's honestly very sad where you are so on edge that you think anybody who doesn't, where is it? Doesn't sit here and post responses like this, and they're going after you. Very sad. But not surprised. So, I'm going to wrap this up. Right here. White supremacists with black men in crime. Nowhere near as bad as they make it out to be, because they interpret the numbers, leaving stuff out, obviously. And hell, I mean, there's just so much that can be said on that. They leave stuff out, and the numbers that they even get, even that doesn't show that. Numerous pieces have been written on this. It doesn't show the entire thing. It's just a head count. As far as this is a perfect example. As far as the number of people in jail, that's just a head count. None of those stats, and media man, listen to this because you might actually learn something with this here. None of those stats, those numbers, when it comes to black men in crime, that white supremacists like to throw in our face and make it seem like, oh, look at all this crime that they do. Oh, what the hell did they do? 1388 and all that do, or 1480? No, not even 1488, like 1370 and all that crap. None of those accounts for the why. Why are those numbers? First of all, are those numbers even correct? Okay, but let's just say they are. Why are those numbers there? Why are those numbers there? If arrest rates are roughly in line with percentages of the population, and they roughly are, but yet conviction rates are not, and the only thing that these stats are doing are posting the numbers of who is in jail, which demographic is in jail, by which race and age and whatever the fuck else, gender, whatever. It doesn't account for who gets plea deals and who doesn't. It doesn't account for just all the various aspects of the system. Let's see, who can get high quality lawyers versus who's stuck with public defenders. Who ends up getting a judge that is more lenient on one because of whatever reason versus the other. None of these numbers account for shit like that. And when we start getting into these things and we do what you seem to like to do the most, which is reduce everything down to numbers and stats and all that shit. As somebody in the computer world, I can tell you this right now. There's more to it than just numbers. You can sit here and say the numbers, the numbers, the numbers. The numbers mean nothing, man, without interpretation. And the interpretation is highly subjective. Highly fucking subjective. This is why you can get so many different varied thoughts and beliefs and opinions based off the same numbers. And that's been happening. And before anybody tries to say, no, you can't, that's been happening. That happens to the nth degree. I literally just told you an example. White supremacists come, they present numbers, they go and say they come to this conclusion. Other people go back, look at those numbers. Wait a minute. Whoa, hold on. Okay. These numbers are not like this, and these numbers, yes, they are like this, but why are they like this? It's not because black people just love to do crime the most. Have every single cop police nothing but white areas and leave all black areas, all non-white areas unpoliced. Yeah, you're going to come with it looking like white people commit 100% of crimes. The numbers. Sad. Very sad. But as somebody who is also very much liking the numbers and proof, printed out proof and all that stuff, I can tell right now that this response right here is of somebody that has no patience, somebody that does not sit and think. If the numbers don't, if it's not presented to them right away, they don't sit and think. And think, maybe, just maybe, this is not the way that I'm thinking it is. Nope. Knee-jerk reactions. And then you have the peanut gallery. People really be scared of math, LOL. LOL. Okay, some of us got to do better. Yeah. I'm in very much agreement with you. Some of us really do have to do better. They really do. But hey, you have your 4 sources here. I'm sure nobody is going to go and comb through those sources and come to a completely different conclusion based on the same sources you give. I am going to assume that you're right about this, even though if we go back to the original thing where I asked, where is it? Right here. In this case, I don't know if I don't know if it's as bad, better, or worse than it looks once raw numbers are put in the formulas. For example, is it only applying to black American women Oh, I'm sorry, ADOS, DOSA, FBA, whatever the other imbecilic foolishness these types and their ilk come up with this week, came up with this week, or is it all black women that happen to live in the USA? Now, I'm not the only one who came to that conclusion. I wonder how I would come to that conclusion. Okay. Here you go. But one thing they didn't really go in depth in the amount of random partners women have while the man is in prison. Okay, so there's that one. Right? And then that's this same dude, if I'm not mistaken. Where is it? Oh, okay, and then there's this person. So I got a question. Are the rates of HIV for FBA or African or other groups of blacks from other countries? You lump. He broke it down. You sure about that? Sure about that? Sure about that? Based just off what's here, I see black. Obviously, we're going to have to assume it's all in America, but is it Caribbean black, UK black, African black, American black? It just says black. Okay. And here you go. So, I would like you all to come to your own conclusion. Very sad that this is the first reaction that you come with somebody that seems like they're not just getting in line and giving you props and praises and stuff like that. Despite the fact that at no point, especially right here, I'm assuming we all have an attention span, right here. That way no one can say anything to the contrary once it's presented. And to prove to you that I did not even see this bit of, whatever you want to call that, retardation. See? Does that sound like somebody who's trying to attack him? All of what I just said, assuming you have the attention span to get this far in a 20-minute video, as opposed to his hours plural long live streams, or whatever, okay? And plus the other people that you all listen to 4 hours, 20 minutes, 23 minutes. Does this look like somebody who is trying to attack him or attack his points? Or does it look like somebody who knows full well how numbers can get fucked with? Feel free to read all of this. He brings the CDC as a source. The CDC has lost so much so much credibility after their foolishness during COVID. I won't even get into the whole appealing to credentials thing and just because and all of those logical or argumentative fallacies. No, but as someone who is sitting here, okay, let me explain this to you people, and then I'll end it on this. I happen to see stuff like his come across my feed every now and then. I don't sit and watch this dude. I don't sit down and watch this dude. I made some comments on his page, of which he liked and hearted, by the way, so, you know, okay. But I don't sit in the black YouTube space, or really any space. However, the space that I sit the most in is a space where you have credentialed experts, okay, who are mainly, if not completely, free from the I don't know what you want to call it, the industry that basically has their field of study by the balls, and in most notably now the medical industry, medical slash pharmaceutical industry, health industry, right? These are people, credentials. They're not just random ass people that, as I said here, have nothing to gain by lying and nothing to lose by telling the truth. And I'm coming to find out that a lot of these studies and stats and stuff that the universities and stuff comes with, this is the reason why I have this list here. I mean, forget the government stats for a second, just from other sources that the government also relies on. Okay? Not all of it is what people think it is. Not all of it. Yet what? They get to hide behind my credentials, my authority, supposedly peer-reviewed and all that business, and peer review, okay. They get to hide behind all of that, and if you dare question them, well, you're just some, I don't know, shit, flat earth creationist, whatever, right? But you start to hear people that are free from that. They run their own stuff, which is the great thing about online and stuff like YouTube now. One of the few benefits I'll say of YouTube is that people are able to say things now and actually come with things that might go against the mainstream. Like if you have your credential degree and your credentials, your authority, whatever, but you say something against the pharmaceutical industry, or you promote something alternative to that might just affect people's money, who bankrolled the study. You see? This is the kind of stuff that I mainly watch YouTube for now. I don't watch YouTube to get into the space of what Medium Man talks about, because far better than him has tried and failed. Infinitely better than him. Sorry, Medium Man. Now this is where I'm going to come at you. Infinitely better than you is actually currently on YouTube. The few that managed to make it through the mid 2000s, 2012 to 2015, 16, 17, that area, that dark ages of YouTube. There's one or two that are still here. A couple. Most are long gone. All of them are infinitely better than you. Okay? None of this was me coming at you. This is me coming at you right now. There are far better people than you. Far better. Far better. Okay? Oh, really? Name some names. Okay, well, as much as I actually don't... Well, okay. Thugtician was one. Let's see. The Brutal Reality was the other one. Man-Woman Myth was one. Barbarossa, which you can still find some of his stuff here. But, then again... Calvary's Hero 9. Calvary's here, yeah. For one that's specifically to the black community and black people. Calvary's here. Yeah, that's one. And, you know, hey, as much as I have my thoughts about this one particular individual, he's in this camp down here, I will have to say it, Jason Black. And for me to say his name, considering if anybody knows between me and him, for me to say his name, yeah. So there are some that are better than you, that have tried this, all of what you're doing, and failed. And that's just the ones here on YouTube. Then you can talk about the people that have written books on this shit and all of this and still falling on deaf ears. But hey, you know what? Maybe you have something they don't have. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, hey, maybe you're the second Malcolm X or something. I don't know. Anyway, point is, much like what one of the commenters said, yes, you must do better. You really must do better. For you to sit here and say this to somebody who obviously was not trying to attack you, hey, hey, if you Media Man et al. Think that just posting a bunch of stats and see, here are the numbers that prove it, and here's these people that use these numbers to say what I'm saying, if you think that's it, you have another thing coming. Because numbers supposedly don't lie. However, they can be made to say whatever you want them to, depending on how hard they're jujitsu'd. Jujutsu. Okay. Yeah, I can pronounce it right, but I haven't used Japanese in the longest time, so fuck it. Anyway, last thing I'll say, for anybody who doesn't think that I'm right about any of this, know this. McDonald's can point to some studies that show, studies plural, that show that their food is not exactly unhealthy. They funded those studies. They have the studies, they have the stats, they have the proof, they have raw numbers. They funded it. You all have a nice day. And Media Man, you might want to learn some yeah, you know what? Good luck to you. You're gonna need it.